Tonight on CTV News at 6, a deadly fire in northeast Edmonton.
You never know how fast it could have spread to the other units.
A child is killed and 2 others injured in an early morning fire.
It's just scary because we never knew what happened until this afternoon.
November's first major snowfall wreaks havoc on the roads.
And big piles of ice, everything was just piled up there, and my truck just lost control.
And let it shine.
We focus on families and bringing the kids here.
The annual Glow Festival returns to Edmonton.
I think it just gets everybody in the holiday spirit.
Staying cold through the weekend, but some milder air rolls back in early next week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Brendan Purdy.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. A memorial is growing at the site of an overnight fire in northeast Edmonton. Edmonton Fire Rescue says a child is dead and 2 others are in hospital along with an adult. CTV's Jeremy Thompson joins us from the scene with more details. Jeremy, what are you seeing there tonight?
Well, Brendan, from the outside, there's not much evidence there was a fire here. The unit you can see behind me with the light on the ground floor, that's the one it happened in. Up above, more difficult to see. There's a broken window, and the room inside there appears blackened and burnt. Late this afternoon, the fire department confirmed 1 child was killed. Fire crews arrived around 1:20 a.m. last night and got the flames under control quickly. 2 adults and 3 children were inside. The fire department says 1 of the children died on scene despite efforts by firefighters and paramedics. First responders used what they call advanced life support techniques while transporting the other 2 children to hospital, 1 in critical condition, the other with serious injuries. A bouquet of flowers and a Paw Patrol Beanie Baby have been placed outside the front gate. I spoke with a man who lives in the complex. He was surprised to learn there was a fire overnight. He and his family weren't woken up.
You never know how fast it could have spread to the other units because of how many are connected in the area. Like, even if the fence got fire, it could have traveled to the neighbor's fence as well. So it's just scary because we never knew what happened until this afternoon.
As for the firefighters and paramedics who responded, Fire Chief David Lazenby says this loss is an absolute tragedy for their family, for our community, and for everyone in our department who responded overnight. We are all deeply affected, and our hearts go out to the family. Now, both adults were also injured in this fire. 1 was treated on scene with minor injuries. The other was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. This is now being turned over to fire investigators who are pledging a thorough investigation into the cause. Brendan?
Thank you for that, Jeremy. That's CTV's Jeremy Thompson in northeast Edmonton for us tonight. Thousands of nursing care workers across our province have ratified a new collective agreement with Alberta Health Services. The Alberta Union of Provincial Employees says 63% of members working for AHS and the new pillars of healthcare voted in favor of the deal reached last weekend. As part of the agreement, licensed practical nurses will see their wages increase by about 24%. Healthcare aides will get a wage hike of roughly 17%. The agreement is retroactive to April of 2024 and will expire in March of 2028. AUPE says it was a long and frustrating process, but it has raised the bar for collective agreements in Alberta. Members at the Lamont Healthcare Centre held a separate ratification vote. They didn't vote in favor. They'll be returning to the bargaining table. Finance Minister Nate Horner says he appreciates the effort it took to reach this agreement. The United Conservative Party's annual general meeting is getting underway at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Tonight, Premier Danielle Smith is engaging with the party's grassroots members ahead of policy votes tomorrow. CTV's Connor Hogg is there. And Connor, what are you hearing tonight?
Well, Brendan, Premier Danielle Smith is speaking with the party faithful, participating in a bear pit discussion with members of her caucus as we speak. Now, this discussion is covering a number of topics. Those include alternative schooling options in Alberta, how the hiring of a provincial police force would look, raising speed limits in Alberta. We're also hearing a number of cases of opposition to the UCP's Care First insurance legislation that is upcoming. Now, earlier today, Smith was also taking questions, including one on the ongoing UCP MLA recall campaigns.
Would love to get your feedback, because we're talking about, should we modify the rules a bit to tighten it up so that there's more parameters around it? Okay, that's one clap sort of feedback.
Smith spoke on a variety of party ideas, including the results from the summer's Alberta Next panels. She says the responses from some questions, like the Alberta pension plan, were very mixed, and the panel is struggling to decide how to advise the province to proceed. Of course, this year's UCP AGM is not happening in a bubble, Smith having just signed a memorandum of understanding with Prime Minister Mark Carney to build a pipeline to the BC coast. We spoke to UCP members about the direction the party is headed, including that work with Ottawa towards a pipeline.
It's too far down the line. You know what I mean?
I honestly believe that the Premier is doing a wonderful job.
I support a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. I know we might have a bit of a difference of opinion on that, but I hope people today feel a lot more confident that Canada works than they did a couple of days ago.
That was earlier today when Smith responded to a question about policy recommendations from a separatist group. Tomorrow, members will vote on a number of policy proposals, including ones that have been brought up before, like the Alberta pension plan and provincial police force, as well as some new resolutions from UCP members. Those include the removal of fluoride from community water, as well as ending public funding for third trimester abortions. Brendan?
Thanks for that, Connor. CTV's Connor Hogg live for us tonight at the Expo Centre. Alberta's Indigenous Affairs Minister says First Nations voices will be at the forefront of any future pipeline project. Rajan Sawhney says she's heard quiet support for a new pipeline in the conversations that she's had. She says First Nations will be consulted on the pipeline's route and see economic benefits. She points to the Alberta Indigenous Opportunities Corporation as an example of how our province is a leader when it comes to providing Indigenous communities equity stakes in projects.
We have demonstrated that this is a tool that works. Many nations that I spoke to in BC are quite sophisticated and know about the AIOC and have expressed interest. So I expect as this project moves forward, we will see Indigenous communities express an interest in having equity stakes in the proposed pipeline.
Sawhney also plans to engage with her counterpart in BC to get his ideas and let him know about the work that she'll be doing. Our first big snowfall of the year has arrived, bringing with it icy roads and collisions. As CTV's Merrick Takash shows us, the influx of snow also means winter activities are on the way.
Had they been plowed properly, it would have happened.
Matthew Van Heck is one of the 182 people who arrived here before 3 o'clock this afternoon to report damage to their vehicle.
Yeah, I was coming down the overpass on 28 going on to the Henday. I went around the half loop to merge onto the Henday, and big piles of ice and everything was just piled up there, and my truck just lost control and then slammed into the wall under the overpass.
The roads began to turn ugly last night with 2 to 5 centimeters of snow blanketing the city by early this morning.
Whenever there's the first snowfall and there's going to be a lot of people lining up in the collision center.
I came around a corner. I had come from a stop sign, so I was going slow, and I saw her, and I stepped on the brake, and I just kept sliding. You know, they're bad in spots, but it's parking lots that are a problem. That's why I'm here.
Even the Collision Reporting Center isn't spared. Its front sign was hit while we were inside. Over over on a different kind of icy surface. City of Edmonton crews are preparing the ice for public skating at Laurier Park.
This is our favorite time of year when it comes to winter amenities, so we are actively doing all of our ice surfaces here at Laurier, in Rundle Park, and in Victoria Park.
City crews began working on the ice here at Laurier Park last Friday. As you can tell, it's still quite rocky. The city says they plan to have the rink open in about 2 weeks.
So what we do is we start flooding with our water trucks, dumping down as much water as we can as soon as the temperatures allow. As it freezes, it builds up, and we're able to create really great ice.
The Victoria Park Oval will be Edmonton's first outdoor skating surface to open its doors sometime within the next week. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
The City of Edmonton says it's never safe to go out on the North Saskatchewan River or stormwater ponds, even if they look frozen. Edmonton Fire says in the winter, the majority of high-risk rescue calls come from people heading out onto icy surfaces or trying to get their pets who may have wandered off. It says so far this year, crews have responded to 124 water rescue calls on the river or on storm ponds. The city says its public spaces bylaw also prohibits skating on either of those surfaces. Fines for breaking the bylaw start at about $500. All righty, Josh joining us now with our first look at weather. And that snow dump seemed to be causing some people a bit of issue on the roads. Josh, we're getting a bit of reprieve from the fluffy stuff over this weekend.
Yeah, we'll keep the cold temperatures, but I think we're snow-free for the next couple of days. We should see some flurries roll back in next week, though, and that'll go hand in hand with some milder temperatures that start to return. Today, though, that was -9 for a daytime high, and we're at -10 right now, so way below average. Third straight day with temperatures colder than average. That hasn't happened for several months to have 3 straight below average days. -3, the average daytime high. We'll get back into that territory, it looks like, by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Your morning low today, -12. Be a lot colder tomorrow morning, as we'll probably see a little bit of clearing overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. You can see we're right on the edge of that cloud cover here in Edmonton. You get cloudy skies from Edmonton off to the east and to the northeast, but clearer conditions further to the west, and that's what's going to come through overnight. So -17 or 18 tomorrow morning. I think Sunday morning could be even colder, closer to -20 Sunday morning. Your daytime high tomorrow likely stays in double digits, -11 or -12. But thankfully, the wind stays fairly light, and we will see some sunshine. Talk more about that milder, the return of those milder temperatures for early next week and the snow next week in just a few minutes.
Thanks for that, Josh. Edmonton police hope surveillance video will help them find a driver who hit 2 men, one of them in a wheelchair. The video shows a red SUV stopped at the intersection of 127th Ave and 123rd Street. You can see 3 people, including 1 person on the ground, along with a wheelchair. Police say 2 men were crossing 123rd Street when the red SUV ran into them. 1 man was knocked out of the wheelchair. Police say he was seriously injured, but it wasn't life-threatening. Police say the driver stopped briefly to speak with the men before leaving the scene. EPS Major Collisions wants anyone with information about the SUV to come forward. RCMP have recovered a stolen trailer with specialized wheelchairs inside. The trailer belongs to the Northern Lights Wheelchair Basketball Society. It was taken sometime last weekend from outside Memorial Composite High School in Stony Plain. It held 15 specialized wheelchairs. The society says students all over northern Alberta use them for basketball. The club's program manager says RCMP told him 7 wheelchairs are still inside.
Random thefts of property all the time. It's unfortunate that people need to do that to survive, I guess. So I just need to do a better job of beefing up the security, putting GPS trackers on these trailers so that I know exactly where they are.
Norton says the towing company told him the trailer was found near the school. A longtime Jasper Deli, destroyed by last year's catastrophic fire, has reopened here in Edmonton. The owners of Patricia Street Deli have spent more than a year getting this space just north of McEwen's Allard Hall ready for their customers. They had some setbacks and relied on fundraising to make their dream of reopening become a reality. Wendy and Glenn Leach opened the small deli in Jasper for 20 years. Their new space is much larger, 2,800 square feet and more modern, but brings back some fan favorites. It has a wall for people to sign, a familiar menu, and the promise of warm hospitality.
What people will remember when you come into our shop is how we're treated. Yeah. You know, and you know, added to that a little bonus is you get to have a really good sandwich. Yeah. And visit people.
Yeah, the experience that one has is just so important.
Unlike the Jasper location, this deli has evening hours and even serves alcohol. There's a soft launch this weekend before the grand opening on Monday. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, keeping lanyards out of the landfill.
I realized that I wanted to make a bigger difference than just upcycling clothing.
How a local initiative is recycling and reusing what is usually a one-time use item. Plus,
I've been looking at them and I see just like some of the coolest ones.
A diamond in the rough. The Rock and Gem Show returns to Edmonton.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. The Edmonton Convention Centre has launched a new initiative to help keep lanyards from winding up at the landfill. It's teamed up with a local business to create the Lanyard Library program, giving people hosting events the option of using lanyards made from upcycled textiles. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
Christina Hillier has turned her love of sewing into a business designed to reduce waste.
I realized that I wanted to make a bigger difference than just upcycling clothing. I wanted to create items that people could use to reduce more waste. So I started with reusable tote bags and produce bags.
She recently partnered with the Edmonton Convention Centre to make lanyards from upcycled textiles.
When someone books an event with the convention centre, they can then rent the library and use it at their event. And so instead of using promotional lanyards that are used once and thrown away, instead the promotion can go on the cards, like on the name tags, and then you can reuse the actual lanyard over and over again.
Instead of thousands of leftover lanyards from events, many unused, winding up in the landfill, they now go to Hillier. The hardware from them gets used on the new reusable versions. The rest of the old lanyards wind up in here.
We use the lanyards itself as stuffing in our own yoga prop line that we have. So we take all of our manufacturing scraps and those lanyards, we mix them together and it becomes a stuffing.
As part of the Lanyard Library program, after every use, Hillier will collect them to clean and sanitize them for their next use.
It's just been launched, so it's brand new. We're still waiting for next year's events to hear about it, and hopefully they'll start booking them next year.
She's hopeful the partnership will mean more waste reduction initiatives in the future.
As a small business, I can only make so big of a difference, but the minute I get to start collaborating and working with other companies and like bigger systems, that's where I see real change happening because it's becoming more mainstream.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
There's no ice on the rink at the West Edmonton Mall, but plenty of crystals as the Rock and Gem Show takes over.
Yeah, new crystals everywhere, and I've been looking at them and I see just like some of the coolest ones.
Rocks, gems, and minerals are laid out on display tables for enthusiasts like Sam Aschenmeyer to admire. Organizers work directly with international miners in places like Brazil, Morocco, and Indonesia, while also offering selections from right here in Canada. They say there are plenty of options to choose from ahead of the holiday season, even for someone on the naughty list.
We sell a lot of like mystery bags, blind boxes. People love those. Great stocking stuffers. Break your own geodes as well. Great stocking stuffer. Better than a lump of coal. Probably have some coal kicking around here somewhere. I mean, it's a rock show.
Admission is $3 a person. The show runs until Sunday. One of the brightest holiday festivals in Edmonton starts up next week with the return of Glow. This year's theme, the Enchanted Forest, Glow has expanded this year with what organizers call its biggest attraction ever audio adventure. Displays feature an interactive button that, when pushed, tells a story. This year's festival features more than 1.5 million lights.
We focus on families and bringing the kids here, or I mean, you can come as a couple as well. There's so many displays you can do pictures at. So, but I think it just gets everybody in the holiday spirit.
The festival runs from next Thursday, December 4th, until the 31st. Still ahead, a winter ride.
The demand was much more than we expected, so this year we've quadrupled the capacity.
Getting festive aboard the Edmonton streetcar.
We get a break from the snow for a couple of days, as we should see some sunshine this weekend. Cold air sticks around for 2 more days, and then that as well disappears early next week. 5-day forecast right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Let's talk about satellites and radars. Today, which is the one that's up in the sky taking pictures of the Earth? Is that a satellite or a radar? That's a satellite, that's right. We have 2 kinds. We have visual satellites that actually take pictures, and then we have infrared satellites that, when it's nighttime, come in handy for us, right? Because they can still show us where the clouds are. So those are up in the sky. Do they show us where precipitation is? Do satellites show us where precipitation is? No. What do we use to show where the precipitation is? The radar, that's right. So the radar is on the ground, it spins around, it sends out pulses of energy that bounce off precipitation and come back, and then it draws on the map where the rain or the snow is. So which one shows us clouds? Satellite or radar? Satellite. And which one shows us precipitation? Radar. Excellent. These are the grade 5s from? That's right, they are Weather Whiz kids, and you are
CTV Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Beautiful shot at the Edmonton Valley Zoo getting into the Christmas spirit. So too is the Edmonton streetcar. It's rolling out a car decked out for the holidays. CTV's Nariman Issa goes along for the ride.
'Tis the season aboard the Edmonton streetcar. The streetcar is decked out in garland, tinsel, bows, and complete with a Christmas tree.
The demand was much more than we expected, so this year we've quadrupled the capacity.
This is the 4th year the Edmonton streetcar has offered Christmas rides.
What's unique is we're operating in winter with the snow. That gives a whole different perspective on it. For the night and later in the afternoon rides, you get to see the city at night, which is a little bit unusual.
Special holiday rides are taking place over the next few weeks.
Each run is 45 minutes. So we go from here at the Strathcona station. We go through a tunnel where there's a few surprises in the tunnel for you. We go across the top of the high-level bridge, the highest operating streetcar crossing in the world. And then we go up to Government Plaza where you can look across at the legislature, and then we return.
Rides are limited as winter is tough on the 113-year-old car.
Sometimes it gets cranky, like some of us. It doesn't want to get up in the morning. It doesn't want to operate in the cold weather.
Passengers are enjoying an early start to the holidays.
They look really nice, and I love Christmas. It's very festive in here. I like the music as well. Great atmosphere. Christmas!
The Christmas streetcar runs until December 21st. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
All right, Josh, joining us for another look at the weather. The train looks like a great way to spend a bit of a holiday season, a chilly day.
Streetcar's great. Love the streetcar.
But I've got to ask, where does your excitement level reach for the outdoor rink?
I like to use it. I hate building it.
Yes.
So my kids are too old. I'm not going to do it this year. Take a look outside right now. I'll use somebody else's. Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right, it's free, -10 in Edmonton right now after hitting -9 for a daytime high today. That should read -10 in Fort McMurray. A slip of the finger when I was entering that. -13 in Peace River and -9 in Red Deer. We do have some advisories. And again, if you missed it earlier this week, Environment and Climate Change Canada has come out with a new color-coded tiering system for these warnings. Most of the watches and warnings are going to be yellow. These today are all yellow. As we get into higher impact severe weather, you might see an orange or a red advisory. These are yellows. Peace River, fog advisory, and then across the south in the red zone, a snowfall warning. In the blue zone, a blowing snow advisory. You can see most of that snow is almost done, but you're still dealing with some wind down there, and so the fresh snow that's on the ground is all kind of blowing around and reducing visibility fairly significantly. There's your cloud cover from Edmonton off to the east and to the northeast. And there's your clearing to the west and northwest. And we'll see some of that clearing come through overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning, although the clearest skies might hold off until about lunchtime or early afternoon. So we got partly cloudy to start and then sunshine tomorrow afternoon. Clouds will roll back in, it looks like, for Saturday night. And for Sunday, we'll call this a mix of sun and cloud. Out ahead of this low pressure system, that's the one that may give us some flurries from Monday night into Tuesday. There's some milder air that'll start to push in from the west. And so your daytime high Sunday probably doesn't come in until 7 or 8 p.m. I mean, most of your daytime highs at this time of year are coming in around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That one will be a late arrival. So it's still going to be cold for most of the day Sunday. But we should get back to about -5 or -6 in the evening. It's -13 right now in Fort McMurray, -20 in Grand Prairie. Temperatures have dropped off fairly quickly there. -17 in Red Deer after a high of -9. We're at -10 downtown. We'll slide to about -17 tomorrow morning, so a cold start to the day. And with light wind, we're stuck in double digits tomorrow. Yes, we'll get some sunshine, but only -11 or -12 for a daytime high. -6 on Sunday. Again, that looks good on the surface, but look at your morning temperatures around -20 and cold most of the daytime hours Sunday. Then we're back to around 0 Monday. You get a chance of flurries Monday late in the day into Tuesday morning. Maybe some late day flurries as well on Wednesday. And those daytime highs actually don't look all that bad. Fairly mild, pretty close to, if not slightly above average for much of next week. And in next week, that could be heavy snow late Friday into Saturday. So a couple of pockets of flurries early in the week, but milder air will be the big story after a cold weekend.
Thanks, Josh. Still ahead, Canada's economy sees some surprising growth.
But it doesn't really kind of take away the kind of, how should I say, concern that we have around the economy still.
Why economists say the situation isn't cause for celebration. Plus,
he's dedicated his life to climate issues, and it's completely understandable that he would stand on that principle.
Reaction to a key federal cabinet minister's resignation and what may be coming next.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
The Canadian economy has avoided a technical recession. There was a surprising growth in the third quarter, despite the onslaught of U.S. tariffs. While there was 2.6% growth, the situation isn't exactly rosy. CTV's Abigail Beeman digs deeper into the numbers.
Hi, Ontario people. That's what we need to do, is support each other.
Some economists say gross domestic product growth is proof months of Buy Canadian ads and measures are working even with an unresolved trade war.
We saw imports drop 2.2%, which is a huge decline in the amount of foreign goods that we're consuming here in Canada. And that's really what helped to propel the economy forward, along with some increasing government spending.
Canada's real gross domestic product rose 2.6% on an annualized basis in the third quarter of 2025. Imports dropped 2.2% and exports climbed 0.2%.
This puts aside kind of the recession talks or certainly the worries that we had about 2 negative quarters, but it doesn't really kind of take away the kind of, how should I say, concern that we have around the economy still.
Statistics Canada says business investment was flat and household spending dropped slightly. The Prime Minister picks a positive spin and takes credit, posting the growth beats expectations and we're getting results.
At the surface, the data looks good. It's positive. But scratching beneath the surface, what you see is that there's some prudence. Consumers are prudent. You see that in the way they've increased their savings.
This economic snapshot comes ahead of the Bank of Canada's last interest rate decision of the year on December 10th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The pipeline agreement that Prime Minister struck with Alberta is coming with some risks for Mark Carney. Stephen Guilbeault, a key cabinet minister, has already resigned, and there could be some more blowback. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
For a project like that to come to reality, you'd have to make sure that there is social acceptance, certainly if it's going to BC.
After 6 years in the Liberals' inner circle, Stephen Guilbeault quit as Minister of Culture, unable to stomach the Prime Minister's shift toward pipelines. Just hours after Mark Carney signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Alberta's Premier, Guilbeault resigned. He said several elements of the climate change action plan he worked on are about to be dismantled, including consumer carbon pricing, zero-emission vehicle standards, and the emissions cap on the oil and gas sectors.
I'll disagree with the characterization that we're rolling things back when we've actually committed to strengthening the industrial carbon price, strengthening methane regulations, extending the methane regulation.
Guilbeault will remain in caucus. Other Liberal MPs feel strongly about the environment. About 30 are part of a newly formed climate caucus.
He's dedicated his life to climate issues, and it's completely understandable that he would stand on that principle. Does that mean that there's a cancer spreading through the caucus? Absolutely not.
Guilbeault was also the Quebec lieutenant. Now Carney will have to find someone else to help him navigate the politics of La Belle Province.
Mark Carney is not a Quebecer. Mark Carney is not culturally, linguistically in the flow of Quebec. He relies on that Quebec lieutenant.
On social media, the Prime Minister thanks Stephen Guilbeault for his work in advancing sustainability. Mark Carney must now turn his attention to finding a new Minister of Canadian Culture. He could also use a vacancy for a cabinet shuffle. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Airbus says it's ordering an immediate software change on thousands of planes in its global fleet, which may lead to some cancellations. The sweeping recall could mean flight delays and cancellations. The update reportedly has to be carried out before the next routine flight. Airbus says intense solar radiation may corrupt data critical to functioning of flight controls. This comes after a JetBlue flight made an emergency landing in Florida back in October after a sudden drop in altitude. U.S. President Donald Trump is vowing to permanently pause all immigration from what he calls third world countries following the death of a National Guard shot earlier this week. Specialist Sarah Beckstrom died. Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf is in critical condition. Trump offered few details about the immigration pause, but said in a post on social media he plans to remove millions of migrants from the U.S. Officials say the 29-year-old suspect in the deadly shooting entered America in 2021 through a program which welcomed around 76,000 Afghan refugees. At least 56 people have been killed and over 20 are missing after heavy rains triggered landslides and a devastating floods in Sri Lanka. Raging waters have washed away houses and ripped through towns. Most train services have been canceled, and government offices and schools are closed, with more rain expected today. Southeast Asia has been battered by heavy rain and floods in recent days. Hundreds have died across Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. The death toll in Hong Kong has risen to 128 people after a fire tore through multiple high-rise apartment buildings. 79 people were injured in the disaster. 200 others are missing. The complex was undergoing renovations at the time of the fire, with bamboo scaffolding and green mesh fueling the rapid spread. Today, authorities arrested 8 people in connection with the project. Earlier this week, 3 people overseeing the work were arrested for manslaughter. A corruption inquiry has been launched. Still ahead, making a list and then checking it twice.
I have a full spreadsheet. All the prices are on there.
A look back at Black Friday at Canada's biggest mall. Also, after the break, a Made in Alberta about Alberta film hits the big screen tomorrow. But before we let you go, let's have a peek over at Zoominescence down at the Edmonton Valley Zoo. A beautiful shot of all the lights. The festival begins next week on December 5th. We'll be right back.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
Taking a look now at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down 10 cents on the day, closing at $58.55 U.S. a barrel. Gold gained more than $52 today, while the TSX and Dow Jones both ended the day higher, up 186 and 289 points, respectively. Now, shoppers expecting some customer chaos at Canada's largest mall were pleasantly surprised by how calm it was earlier this morning. Now, as the day went on, however, those crowds grew at West Edmonton Mall. Everyone hoping to score a great deal on Black Friday. CTV's Matt Woodman has more.
This is like the official start of the holiday shopping season.
When the doors opened at West Edmonton Mall on Black Friday, there were no door crashers.
It's good. It's not as busy as I thought. I thought it would be packed.
No long lines.
Yeah. Even the parking lot didn't have a lot of cars yet. Mind you, we were here early.
And no real rush.
Oh yeah, this is the way to shop. Get your Starbucks and head out.
For some early birds, it really didn't feel like Black Friday at all.
We were here in February, but today, I don't know, it doesn't seem as busy as last time.
Shoppers could just take their time.
7 years in a row, we've done Black Friday shopping, and every year it gets a little bit calmer.
We think because the sales aren't as good anymore as they used to be, but we still have fun.
Customers keep coming in, but I'm sure it's going to get busier after 12. We're going to have trouble keeping up.
As the clock hit noon, the pace and the people pick up.
It's definitely our busiest shopping day of the year when it comes to pre-Christmas shopping.
Everyone trying to find that certain something for a special someone.
My mom, my dad, girlfriend, a couple buddies.
What are we looking for on Black Friday today, ladies?
Oh boy. Everything.
Everything?
Everything.
Did you make a list and check it twice?
I got a long list.
Aritzia, Lulu, yeah, Lego.
Lego? I'm hearing Lego from a lot of people.
All ages love Lego, yeah.
Are you going to cross everything off your list?
That's the plan. I have a full spreadsheet. All the prices are on there.
My daughter's still into Harry Potter, so maybe we're looking at Lego and stuff.
Any tips for rookie shoppers on Black Friday?
Remain calm. We're hitting the busy spots first. So we've been to Sephora. We're heading to Victoria's Secret. We've been to Bath and Body Works.
And don't forget to treat yourself to a little something as well.
Oh, we've gotten a lot for ourselves. Don't tell our husband so.
Matt Woodman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Now, yesterday, thousands of Oilers fans spent hours inside West Edmonton Mall for a few fleeting moments with their favorite Oilers players. Wyatt McNeil and his family waited for more than 12 hours to be first in line to see Connor McDavid. Lines for McDavid and Leon Draisaitl wound throughout WEM. The mall opened up at 6 a.m., but the McNeils got in line around 5:30, a perk of spending the night at the Fantasyland Hotel.
I got an autograph from McDavid, and I said, do you have any advice for me for my hockey team? I'm the captain of my hockey team. And he said, just be yourself.
He doesn't ask for much, so I felt I had to do it. So yeah, it was a long day, but it was worth it.
The McNeil family says they'll always remember the experience. A new film called Alberta #1 documents monuments and museums off the beaten path. Alexander Carson's latest film features landmarks throughout the Alberta Rockies, prairies, and Badlands. The characters in this Western-style short film take to the road by car instead of the horseback, as they would have in days gone by. While the film is centered around the province's quirky attractions, it also features a narrative exploring relationship tensions. Carson has lived in Alberta for the last 2 decades. The film will be screened at the Metro Cinema tomorrow night. Coming up, soaring to new heights.
Because when I skate, I always feel very happy about myself, and it just makes, when I skate, it just makes me happy.
How the defending Canadian junior women's figure skating champ got to where she is and her hopes for the future.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV, starting at 7 with E-Talk.
Coming up Monday on Your Morning Edmonton, a new way to buy local and delicious this holiday season. Plus, we catch up with the local designer who is part of Project Runway Canada.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
The 2025-26 Skate Canada Challenge is underway in Calgary. CTV's Glenn Campbell has the story of one Alberta skater with big goals.
It's not hard to spot Leah Cho when she's at the rink. The 13-year-old is soaring to new heights every time she hits the ice.
My favorite thing is feeling the fresh air when I skate, and when I jump, it makes me feel like a bird.
Cho started figure skating when she was just 5 years old and has gotten better every year. She's the defending Canadian junior women's figure skating champ. Last year in Laval, Quebec, she won the title with a record-breaking score of 188.79 points.
I honestly think the reason why I'm good at skating is because when I skate, I always feel very happy about myself, and it just makes, when I skate, it just makes me happy. Seeing all my friends, coaches, and doing all my jumps and elements just makes me feel so happy when I skate.
This week, Cho was skating in Calgary at the Skate Canada Challenge, where she was once again the runaway winner. And that means she qualifies for the Nationals again. Cho skates out of the Glencoe Club, and her coach, Scott Davis, says she puts the work in.
Leah is very dedicated and works really hard. One of the hardest workers I've ever seen, and really diligent, and one of the most consistent skaters at such a young age, which is pretty impressive.
Cho's short-term goals are to compete internationally and skate in junior Grand Prix. Beyond that, she wants the Olympics.
Honestly, I think going to the Olympics will be a total big dream for me. I watched Yuna Kim compete at the 2014 Olympics, and I honestly really wanted to compete in the Olympics when I saw that, and I was like, that's my goal, just to compete for Canada at the Olympics.
All right, Josh, a final look at weather for this hour until we come all the way back at 11:30 tonight. But I've got to ask, what are your favorite winter activities that you're looking forward to most as we transition seasons?
Shoveling more snow. Love it.
Come on.
Spent half an hour doing it earlier today. Felt great. It's nice. It's nice to be out in the fresh air. It's good. It's good exercise.
Well, that makes one of us. You can shovel my walk anytime you want.
Minus 17 tomorrow morning. Minus 12 tomorrow afternoon. We'll see some sunshine tomorrow, but a cold day. Thankfully, the wind will be fairly light. Minus 20 range Sunday morning, but late Sunday we'll get back to about minus 6. And then temperatures get a whole lot milder next week, and we get a chance of some more snow. next week.
No, well, thank you for that, Josh. For $5, you'll come shovel your walk to shoveling Josh Clausen.
My favorite activity.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you at 11:30.